Good morning, Hacksters. I am very excited because we have another kit from Steph Piper of PIPER3DP. And let's just take a look really quick at the website for this because we've featured Steph's work a couple of times previously, and you can find those links in the description below. One interview with Steph talking about these kits. And I think the one we're assembling today might be this cat one, which would make me extremely happy. But she sent us one, and it's long enough now that I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the cat. We also did an interview with Steph about her companion bot templates for people working with kids or beginners, building companion robots. There's a link to that project in the description of this video. Both of those are linked below. Then you've got Steph's Twitter, and specifically her link to this new Etsy. So everything that she used to do, or that she did used to be under this label Elkie Education, but now it is this Etsy store. And you can find all these soldering kits, including the Space Girl one that we did before, this cat one that I think we're doing today, and would make me very, very happy. If not, there's like plenty of other cool stuff. She's got some various kinds of conductive tape, cute sticky notes and stickers, very tech friendly, and electronic guides, posters, some little paper circuits templates for cards and stuff, and more cool stickers. Just love these. So good. Hardware and self-care. So let's open it up. Oh boy. I've made a mess of my screen here. But yeah, let's get this open. I love doing a circuit kit on a Friday. It's just a lovely way to wrap up the week. Ooh! Now I don't know that there's probably an instructional page for this, which I don't have pulled up, but I'm guessing that she's got some included here because her design skills are ridiculous and she has a ton of experience with education. So, oh, she sent me some stickers! Oh, yes! Oh, that's very exciting. Oh, there's 2 kits in here! We're gonna have to do another episode as well then. The 2 stickers I thought were the cutest on the website. She sent them to me already. This is the best day. Oh my gosh. Hardware and self-care, like I just mentioned. And I can fix it with a sweet robot arm. Oh, I haven't put any stickers on this laptop for the last couple years. None at all so far, and we might have to change that. Hey Alex, thanks for all the great work you do for the maker community. Thank you, Steph, too. Enjoy. I certainly shall. Okay, so we've got this little biodome girl smart greenhouse situation. Create a beautiful light up pin while learning how to solder. And then this cat lamp soldering kit, which is the one that I was hoping for. It is extremely exciting to me. Let's take another close-up look at what that looks like. We've got, here's the Etsy page, and here's the product page. Cat soldering kit could be yours for only $31.29. I'm not sure if that's Australian dollars or US dollars. I think we're on Etsy.com now, so it's probably US dollars. But yeah, it's gonna look like that, hopefully. We shall see. Look how pretty that is. It's got like shine through LEDs and it shines back behind it like lots of my own PCBs do. Speaking of which, I'm really excited because I've been working on some new PCBs. There's one coming up, just so you know, I have a talk coming up on April 22nd at Open Hardware Summit. Also happens to be Earth Day, and my talk is about building hardware without feeling like you're really while reducing your impact on the earth. How about that? I'm not an expert, but I'll be sharing a lot of tips from people that I've interviewed on Hackster Cafe, and I've got a new PCB that I don't have a version of yet coming out called that's based on a circuit called the Jewel Thief. Really excited about that one, so tune in then. And also, I've got a new version of my Avnet PCB pick. So for Avnet's 100-year celebration, I created this to be an earring, a guitar pick. It works as a guitar pick, a lapel pin, and stuff like that. But it turns out when you put a lapel pin on it, because I stick it to the battery, it does that, which makes sense because that's how the weight is distributed. So I shifted the battery up so it'll be more centrally located, and hopefully that will solve all our problems. But we'll see. So, Let's look at the stickers again real quick. While my soldering iron is heating up. Hardware and self-care. I can fix it. That's so cute. Then we also have this soldering kit. Oh, it got awards. Roar Awards 2019 Gold Winner Best Teen-Tween Product. Look at how beautifully this kit is put together. I knew that she'd just have really gorgeous ways of showing this. And then also this one that we're doing today. Let me focus on that now. So here we go. Learn Electronics, Elke Education. This flat. Cat lamp kit. This kit includes a circuit board, instructions, electronic parts. Snap out the pieces to make a 3D lamp. Okay, she's done this kit board form that I love. Kit card, I think it's called. That is becoming more popular, and it's really cool because it makes the whole thing into a beautiful snap apart piece. You don't have to use bags for the different PCBs and stuff, and it goes together really nicely. Cat lamp soldering kit. Create a lamp that lights up in the dark. You will need soldering iron, solder, check. I'm using lead-free solder as usual. I've also got some tip cleaner on top here. I just stuck it to there because it's convenient. Pliers and side cutters. Pliers. I wonder what kind of pliers we'll need. But I have both of those. We've got some needle nose and we've got some side cutters. So let's get started. Oh, I'm so excited. Let's open this up. Doo-doo-doo. Hello, Krishna, in the comments there on YouTube. We are now broadcasting, by the way, on LinkedIn as well. That's a new development. Oh, look at this! Look at it's got some nice little paper packing. We've got our little circuit pieces. Actually, are these the same? It'd be really cool if this was just like a little modular. Look at that! Probably mostly the same. Looks like that one has 2 LEDs. This one has 1. Anyway, we've got a switch. It comes with the CR2032 battery, coin cell, battery holder, photo cell to detect the darkness. It sounds like it lights up in the dark. We've got a transistor, it looks like. We've got a switch, a resistor, and of course our LED, which I believe is a little blue LED. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is my favorite aesthetic. It's matte black with beautiful gold enoch coating on those traces. And then white silk screen, of course. Wow, look at that. That's gorgeous. I'm going to take a picture with my phone as well, actually, because I want to get a good photo of this before I take it all apart. That is just incredibly gorgeous. Look at that. Look at it shimmer. Ah! One more photo. Sorry, I can't stop myself. Okay. Gorgeous. And then we're going to snap this all apart and put it together. You can see the battery goes on the base. It's all these PCBs are double-sided, so it's a whole little sculpture, really, whether it's dark or light out. Oh, it's so gorgeous! Oh! Look, even the instructions are a poster! This is really nice. Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm going to hold this up so you can see it a little better. Ooh! Not only does it have instructions, it has a beautiful instructional poster. Look at this. Look at this. This is absurd. Steph. Okay. We've got... This is just gorgeous. Okay. So instructions part 1. It tells you again what you're going to need. Safety goggles. I should wear those, but I don't. LEDs, it tells you about how they're little light sources for your electronics projects and how current can only flow in one direction, etc., etc. Transistors tells you about photoresistors and resistors. So they're telling you about all the different components that are on here. And then on the other side, it tells you how to actually put it together. So I'm just going to prop this up on my desk like so. I might actually need my glasses because I'm turning into a granny. Cool. And let's take a look at this kit again. I think that's all that's in there. Cool. Lovely packing. The lavender really sets off the other stuff. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So here's our beautiful little PCB. I can't get over how gorgeous that is. This is my Omni vise. I use it to hold stuff while I'm soldering. It's a very good tool. And So step 1 is snap or twist out all the pieces using pliers where needed. If you're not sure about anything along the way, check out the assembly video overleaf. Okay, moment of truth. Time to start doing the thing. It's going to be really satisfying. Oh, that's so nice. So pretty. Note also that to reduce the amount of snapping and also the amount of waste, Steph has left some pieces along the edge of the PCB without anything around them. See that? Nothing else around it on the panel. And that is pretty cool too. There's less to snap off. There's fewer mouse bite areas. So like these little areas where it's kind of rough, that's reduced. She talks about the design of this in our interview. Ugh! I'm trying not to, this stuff is pretty durable. I'm not really worried about breaking it, but I still want to be a little bit careful. There we go. Ah! So nice. Okay. More little tab pieces. I'm curious. Yeah. That wants to snap at the board. I wonder if there's some use for that little notch on it. Okay, so we got 3 of those little guys. Got our cat. Little arms. I'm going to twist these. Hey, where do generals keep their armies? Up their sleeves. Sorry. Not sorry. It's Friday morning. We can have a dad joke as a treat. Interesting. We've got solder pads on one side and not on the other. Okay, here's our base. Look how gorgeous! And one last little piece. Grr. I can see how pliers might be helpful here if you have not a lot of hand strength. Doop. There we go. Cool. All right. And I'm going to use, I think, these to just do a little bit of cleanup on here. But not over my desk, because that'll get fiberglass everywhere. I have a little trash can along the side here that's really just an old tea canister. Okay. Just to make it look a little bit nicer. These may end up going in the base, so maybe I shouldn't worry about them. But the little arms. You could also use a Dremel for this. It'd be a little bit more appropriate as a tool. But that also tends to get dust everywhere. And also, I've used a Dremel to sand off the mouse bites on these little guys. And you can really tell, because, well, on this one particularly, because I accidentally Dremeled off part of the switch here. So you have to really use your fingernail to switch it. But also sometimes I miss and end up doing sort of like a little streak of sanded across the PCB. So, your mileage may vary. I think that side cutters do a fine job. Okay, here's all our pieces. 2. Insert the LED, transistor, resistor, and photoresistor into the cat body board. So here's our cat body board. Here we go. LED. Okay, let's dump these out. Krishna says, try using some sandpaper on the burrs. Beautiful results every time. That makes sense. Yeah, better than a Dremel. Definitely easier to use in an environment sensitive to getting dust around. I might do that. Okay, so we're going to do this with the LED, transistor, resistor, and photoresistor. Not the switch for right now. Okay, so the LED, long leg, positive leg, goes through the square hole here. Interestingly, this doesn't seem to be a standard. So Raspberry Pi recently, on one of their new boards, has put, I think it was Raspberry Pi, has started using square holes to indicate ground, which is kind of cool. Or not square holes, but square pads, solder pads to indicate ground pins in their headers, which is kind of cool. Come here. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it was. And it looked really cool. Just little ways to make something a little bit more self-descriptive. Here we go, transistor. Often with these things, so some transistors will come with the outer legs bent out a little bit. This one does not, so I'm gonna just do that a little bit myself so that it goes through the holes at the right pitch. There we go. And then we can just squeegee it all together to get it through those pins, or through those holes rather. There we go. And I've left this sticking out because I'm not sure how long we want it to be. It might not matter. 100K resistor. Bend the little leggies down. $100 kiloohms. There we go. Grr. I'm just going to pull these through. There we go. All right. And bending the little legs out so that it stays firmly in place, just like I did with the LED up here. In fact, I'm going to bend that out a bit more. The photoresistor, let's see. Do I want to put this in any particular position? No, she's just got it mounted right up against the board, so I guess that's what I'll do too. She does have a photo of how it looks when it's all put together here. Okay, just right up against there. Perfect. So the transistor shape will need to match the shape on the board, etc., etc. So solder these parts to the board. Cool. Let's get it in the vise. And we'll solder. I have left my soldering iron on for a little while, so I'm going to clean the tip real quick. Use my brass coil to clean, 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 clean. Now we stick a little bit of lead-free solder on the tip itself, and then we're going to use that to heat up the pad and the components at the same time, and apply solder to the joint. You know, you can cut off lengths of solder and use those. I like to just use the whole roll because it's easy, and it's pretty light. But obviously lead solder is going to be a little heavier. This is lead-free. It doesn't matter as much. I think it's just mostly tin and copper. Let's see. Yeah, SN 99.3 Cu. So that's tin 99.3% and copper 0.7%, I assume. And yeah, just have a nice long length of solder between your fingies and the board. Get that out of the way. And I'm going to approach this with the solder from one side and the iron from the other. Just like a nice smallish amount. This little flick that I do sometimes at the end of a solder join is just to draw the excess up the leg of the component and away from the join so that it stays kind of neat. Like you get just as much enough on the join. You don't get like a huge bead of solder on there, but it's sort of neatly drawn up the leg. You can see that here too. There's like a little bit on there. And you can just do that with a little flick of your wrist. These joins look pretty good. That was very quick and easy. And I suspect for a beginner, they'd be pretty easy too. Now we're going to use our side cutters to snip these off. I always hold on to the leg while I'm doing this, whether I like just pinch it down like this or grab it, just because they can go all over the place. There's two reasons why you might want to use safety goggles, at least while you're learning. And there's, well, I'm sure many reasons. Freak airplane parts coming through. I don't know, whatever. But two main ones that I can think of are so that solder and flux don't spit up and go in your eyes. That can happen, especially with lead-free solder. I've noticed that sometimes the flux is a little bit more spitty. Maybe it's this solder in particular. I don't know. But yeah, you don't want flux in your eyes. You don't want solder in your eyes, no matter if it's lead-free or not. Either way, you're going to have a bad time. And then the other thing is, you know, when you're clipping parts off, sometimes those can fly up in every which way, and holding onto them helps to prevent that. And again, I'm going to dump these into my little desktop trash can in a minute. It's nice to have just like a little tea canister that I can use to dump in tiny little things like this. But also, actually, you know what I've been doing? I've been saving these, actually. I forgot about that. For assembling things that require little joins and whatever. It can sometimes be really useful to just have a tiny little length of wire around. I forget what I was assembling recently, but I needed like a bunch of tiny little lengths of wire. And rather than taking some solid core hookup wire and you know, stripping that and using it, just saving the little legs off of your pieces can be nice. So actually, what I'm gonna do is dump that into here. I have there was one specific compartment I was dumping these in. Maybe it's in a different container. Oh, whatever. Okay, so we've soldered these. We have another. Oh yes, the Pico! That's what it is. The Pico has square solder pads. Very useful indeed, considering the pin markings are on the underside. Yes! So the Raspberry Pi Pico. This guy. We should have one over here. Oh yeah, I do. Let's take a look. In fact. Well, I can't really tell. Oh no, yeah, look at this. This one is square, and that one is square too. And that one's square. No, it's not. Yes, it is. This one and that one and that one and that one. The obviously the outside of these are all castellated, so they're kind of like little divots in. We're talking about the inward facing edge. That's so cool. What a smart and useful thing to do. Design, ladies and gentlemen. That's the order of today. Is just like beautifully designed PCBs, very functional. Just like little details like that really make it more usable, because like the bottom of it looks like this. This is actually multiple test projects on a single board. But yeah, cool. So what's next? They tell you how to solder. That's nice. Oh, sorry. Lots of stuff going on this desk. There we go. So they teach you how to solder. Good connection looks like. Snip off the parts. LEDs need to be around the right way. 4. Solder the battery holder and switch into the base below the artwork. And then insert the cat body into the base. We will check that out in a moment. Okay. So next thing is this. Switch and battery. Yep, here we go. Very easy. The footprint matches the holder. What does it say? Oh, it's the label for the battery, 20 millimeter through hole. Sometimes these have strange battery holders. Sometimes have strange little standoffs. This one looks like it'll be fine. It's got some standoffs, but they work with the board. Since this is a little bit fiddlier, I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to hold the battery holder in place, and I'm going to make a little snake. I think of this almost like a cobra with my solder. I just make a little upstanding part, and then I just bring both the board and my iron to it. So let's get a little bit of solder on there. Get on the board. Heat up the join. And this allows us to just tack solder it in place. Ouch. Ooh, I should have noticed where I was holding it. I should have done the ground one, because that wasn't directly connected to this clip that I was touching. But okay, so now that's held in place, and I can stick it in my vise and do it properly. Woo! That's such an enjoyable little feature of this Omni vise. You just woo! Well, I did it wrong that time. But yeah. you can just spin that little dial and it'll come to rest on top of your piece with a firm grip. It's very nice. Here you go. Okay, cool. And now our switch. On, off. Does it matter which way up it goes? On the bottom, I guess. Let's double check. Switch, yes, also goes on that side. She has such great photos every step of the way in these instructions, so that even if you're not sure about something ambiguous, it's easy to tell. So I'm going to do that same thing again that I just did with holding the component, but note that the outer two pins are connected directly to this grounded case for the switch. So I'm not going to solder one of those. Instead, I will solder one of the central pins. Let's just do that. Yeah, no burning, please. One of these center ones. And actually, another thing that you can do that's kind of cheap is like just put a bunch of solder on your iron, like so, and then just sort of transfer that on. Actually, it's not very easy because these are center pins that I'm trying to do. Let's just do it with the snake. Okay. If it weren't a center pin, that can be a good strategy. Okay, here we go. A little bit of solder on there. Come here. Come here. There we go. And make sure that's held in place pretty firmly. And I'm going to bring it to the board. Come on. It's not looking super great. Come on. There we go. Maybe I'll just kind of smoosh it on. Not super professional, but I kind of smooshed it on by sticking the soldering iron between a couple of the pins on there. And now it's held on there well enough. And I can stick it in there. Some people will use a little bit of glue to attach your component to the board, which makes sense in some cases, depending on how large it is. I am too lazy to get out a whole extra thing of glue and like try applying it perfectly and stuff, so I just do this. But that's another option. You could use a little bit of double-sided sticky tape. Probably a safer option for kids if you're building this with them. Honestly, sticky tape is just the best. Like, all kinds of double-sided sticky tape are really useful in electronics. Who'd have thunk? I've actually used double-sided sticky tape for sticking wearables to myself as like little temporary tattoo LEDs kind of situation. I'll show you that in a second. But cool. So we have this, and let's first, okay, so we're going to insert the cat body into the base, matching the plus and minus symbols. Oh yeah, plus and minus, plus and minus. Go like that, stick it in there. Oh, that's still hot. Big pieces of metal like this will suck down a lot of heat and will continue to hold that heat for a little while, so be careful. Just wiggling this in. Still hot. Oh my. You might want to take a minute with that because I did just kind of hurt myself on that switch. I'd say that's close enough. Looks beautiful. Do we have to solder this? I assume so. Yes, solder the tabs to the gold pads in the base and solder the remainder of the tabs together, connecting the torso and arms and standoffs to the base to make sure it stays together. Okay. Is this the right direction to do this? I wonder if I can like angle it a little bit. So I've actually stuck some little rubber feet on my Omnivice so I can tilt it towards or away from myself. You could do something more elaborate, but that's what works for me. So I'm just going to glob on a huge amount of solder here to make sure that this connection goes across this it's sort of a right angle with a gap here. See that? So I'm going to need kind of a bunch of solder to glob between those. But I'm just kind of This is actually a place where lead-free solder is kind of a good choice because it can be very finicky about heating up. And so having it wanting to solidify all the time is kind of good if you're trying to glob a bunch of it on between two contacts here. So let's glob on some more. Come on. There we go. Just had to heat that pad up. Gorgeous. You can see it sort of solidifying there. It goes from a very glossy, shiny silver to a more matte silver, just like lead does. Leaded solder. You obviously don't want to use flux in this case, but because that tends to make it really want to stick to the pads and nothing else. So that's done. Let's test it. I'm just gonna, before I assemble the rest of it, I'm gonna I'm gonna try it because I'm impatient. Probably shouldn't use side cutters for that, but whatever. It does the job. So positive side up, ground side down, big plus on here, big plus on there. They match. It's beautiful. I'm going to use, this maybe? To jam under there. Ah! Just try not to short out the battery. There we go. Get that under the... Ah! One more time. With dexterity on our side. There we go. Okay. Now. Haha! There we go. It turns on when we make it dark. It turns off when we make it light. And there's some, there seem to be some gradations in between. Maybe? Anyway, yeah, cool. So looking at these traces, what do we see? Here's positive, and it goes to the resistor, and that goes to the photoresistor, and that goes through this transistor to the LED, which presumably gets connected back to, yes, back to ground. Where is that going? Ground goes to around here to there. Okay, so this goes to the middle. That's going to be the base. So basically, your positive voltage goes through the resistor to the photoresistor. Then some amount, based on the amount of light coming in here, goes to the base of the transistor, which allows power to flow from the positive of the battery, which is also connected to the collector over here, to the LED. The LED is connected to the emitter of the... Oh, wait, no. The emitter of the transistor would be connected to the positive of the LED. Oh, actually, it's going through the ground leg. That makes more sense, because then the emitter is connected to the ground of the battery, of course. Okay, so let me go through this one more time. Positive is connected to the resistor and also to the LED. The LED's connection to ground is mediated through this transistor, so it can only get connected to ground if the transistor is on, and the transistor is on if the photoresistor is allowing voltage to pass to the base leg of the transistor, like so. Cool. Beautiful. I'm going to turn this off again and do the rest of the soldering. Yes, here the BJT, the bipolar junction transistor, is acting as a NOT switch. Let's put the rest of these standoffs on and such. Okay, so the standoffs are going to go like this. Whee! And they match up to those little pads. And even in the example photo, the mouse bites on the bottom here are not fully sanded off. So, and actually they stick out far enough that I could sand them off by hand if I wanted to. But this clip actually sticks out far enough that I think I might just leave them on. although one of them does not have the same amount of mouse bite on the bottom of it as the others do, so I might do that anyway. I love how these are beveled. They have this really nice little corner bevel that makes it a lot more polished looking. So we don't have to solder these on. I might skip it right now for the sake of time, but look at that. It stands up perfectly well. Then we've got this. This goes behind it. Where does that actually go? Oh, it goes like this. Cool. So it's like 3D, or it's 2.5D, sort of. And that doesn't really get connected to the circuit at all. But look at that. Look at it go. It's beautiful. What is this for? I wonder. Where do you go? Oh, it's like, this is the holder for the arms. Cool. That's why it has solder pads on the bottom. They're not actually for the circuit, they're for these little pads on the arms. So that all gets connected together. Let's see. Clearly this one should go on this side, I think. So maybe I should solder these together first. Actually, how does this go? Like so? No. Like so? I'm going to take this off and pull this out and try to make sure that these line up properly. Oh, there we go. That made it a little easier. Now we have this lining up. And then this guy to go like that, that, that. Oh, I see. It is like so. Let's get these soldered together. Push them in all the way first. Make our little solder snake. I'm just sort of bringing it towards the wire of solder. There we go. And this doesn't transmit as much heat because it's mostly the fiberglass substrate. The issue with the switch was that it had a lot of metal on it, so it sucks up the heat. But this one you don't have to be as careful about holding it. Come on. This is fairly thin solder wire, so I kind of have to use a bunch to glop it on there. There we go. Sturdy. Okay, now I'm gonna stick this on. Ha 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 ha! It's so pretty! Just absurdly pretty. And that you can just kind of leave on there. And then stick this in here. I should solder this one so it stays a little bit more stable. What a beautiful kit. And it's a lovely little nightlight. There we go. Oh, that's not quite seated in there. Before I solder both pads in, I'm going to make sure that it's sort of well seated. And then I can adjust that one if need be. Now it looks good. Everyone who's joining for the first time, you can find the link to this kit on in the description below. It's on Etsy, along with a bunch of other beautiful stuff from Steph Piper, aka PIPER3DP. Here we go. And there we are. Haha. What a gorgeous kit. I feel so lucky to have one of these to put together. And again, you can find it at the link below. Let's take a look at it in full size. We've got loud printer noises happening, but that's fine. Here's the final kit. Front side and the back side. And if I cover this up with my finger, well, this isn't going to show very well in the in this bright video environment, but I'll switch it on first. How about that? And then it comes on. You can see the little LED go. Gorgeous. Thank you again, Steph, for sending me this. I think all her work is just incredibly designed. Like I said, it won an award for one of the other kits. Look at this. Matte black PCBs are just, they're like the little black dress of PCBs. And then we've got this gorgeous instruction and info sheets. It's like a little poster. You get to snap the whole thing apart. You can order some stickers along with it. All good stuff. Happy soldering. Don't forget to wash your hands after you solder, because even if it's lead-free, it can still be bad for you. And, wear glasses if you want to protect your eyes from spitting flux and possibly flying little component leads and stuff like that. Thank you everyone for joining. Check out the links below for more, including our interviews with Steph. She's a really cool educator and creator and designer. And thanks, Krishna, for chiming in on YouTube with a bunch of comments. All right. Have an awesome rest of your Friday and a beautiful weekend. We'll see you soon. Hack on.